Hi, I'm Pastor Tyler from Hoosick Valley Community Church. Growing at Home is a new series that we hope will deepen your understanding about the story of God. Grow your faith while we can't gather together, and give families tools to set God's good news deep in the hearts of the parents so they can teach it to their children. Each episode will wrestle with some hard questions that people have, especially in these trying times. And it will also include resource links for a YouTube video, a worship song, and other resources so that you can deepen your faith and grow at home. Where do I fit in? This is one of those questions that a lot of times younger people struggle with. But I think it's also true of many adults. Trying to understand, in the grand scheme of things, what part do I have in this? Do I have a part? Or am I just going to be here looking foolish? When my daughter sent me out of the house, she told me to make sure that I wore my mask. Right. Why? Well, I thought that she was concerned. I'm immunosuppressed, and I thought she was worried that, she didn't want Daddy to get sick. So I was like, oh, thank you, honey, I'll go do that. And then when I came back and talked to her, she said something to the effect of, yeah, Dad, I want you to wear that because I don't want people to laugh at you. It's like, leave it to a 4-year-old to make you self-conscious about having to shave your beard off. But this is one of those things where, in the world we live in, right, these kind of questions of, where do I fit in? Am I going to be a fool? I don't even know what's going on. How am I supposed to know what my role in this is? And I want you to know that that's a really important question. And first and foremost, in answering that question, we need to know that God made all people to reflect Him. In Genesis chapter 1, verses 26 through 28, it says, "Then God said, 'Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. They will rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, the animals, all the earth, and the creatures that crawl on it.' So God created man in His own image. He created him in the image of God. He created them male and female. God blessed them, and God said to them, 'Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. Rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, and every creature that crawls on the earth.'" God didn't make a mistake when He made people. And God didn't make a mistake when He made you or me. Even with all the difficulties in life, the hardships, the wonderings, the doubts that we deal with about what it is that we're supposed to do, God said, "Hey, I made you for a purpose. And that purpose is to reflect me. Be fruitful, multiply, make things flourish. Allow the presence of God to fill the earth and rule over it in a way that brings Him glory and honor." Second thing that we have to wrestle with when we're dealing with where do I fit is to understand that God is calling all people, to worship and obey Him. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, it says, "The Lord God took the man and placed him in the Garden of Eden to work it and to watch over it." And what does that mean, to work it? Well, I'm not in the garden. I don't have to work and watch the Garden of Eden. And yes, obviously, you and I are not in the garden. But the question we have to ask ourselves is, the very thing that He put Adam and Eve, right, the first people on the earth, to do, that very thing, don't you think that might be the greatest thing that you and I can also live for? to worship and obey, to work and to watch, to live with God in such a way that lets God and all those around us know who we love. Not only has God made all people to reflect Him, and not only is He calling all people to worship and obey Him, God knows that no one has done that perfectly. Because I'm sure that many people listening in might be thinking like, okay, that's great. I see what God has made me for. But you don't know my life. You don't know what I've done. Maybe you're a young person, a teenager, who's just lost, feeling completely lost. And what God says is it doesn't matter how separated and lost you feel. I know who you are, and I want you to leave the place where you are and come to me. In Romans chapter 3, verse 23, it says, "For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God." None of that is lost on God, that each and every one of us has sinned. But the cool and amazing thing is, God hasn't left us in a place where we have to figure it out on our own, where we have to, try to figure out what it means to go to church and be in the world, or what it means to live for Him, right? He tells us in His Word what it means. And He knows that you and I haven't done it perfectly. And at the very same time, He says, you fit right here with me, reflecting who I am, worshiping and obeying, and allowing me to deal with your brokenness and sin, because only God can.